Hello guys, this is Video Psych, and we are talking about the future of love dolls, sex dolls, robot dolls, etc. Now, it's only really been recent since sex robots have really started to become a thing. The only notable place that I've seen uh, sex robots starting to have a line of production is the site of Real Doll and the company that owns it. And oh yeah, what else was I gonna say? By the way, this is not scripted, so just bear with me. Yeah. So yeah, man, there's so many things. There's actually a lot of details on this subject, and it is a very hard question to really answer. And I don't think even the companies know what the future is going to look like that make these types of dolls and sex robots. To be honest with you, I mean, nobody really knows, but there's some good indication of what's going to happen. I mean, obviously, these love dolls and sex robots are going to be a part of our future in some way or manner. It's just going to happen. That's for damn sure. I mean, if love dolls and sex dolls are kind of, let's say, what weren't going to get much more advanced than they are now, though, I would say that they won't be getting too much more popular if they just stayed at the advancement that they are now. Even though this kind of starting to grow at an alarming rate. That rate is would stop soon, and people would be like, oh, there's love dolls and blah blah blah, and then once some of the people buy them, they realize that they spent thousands of dollars on a doll that they only felt like having sex with like a few times, and then they'll just sit there and collect dust, and then maybe some of their popularity would kind of falter a bit. So, to say the least, with that in mind, there's even some people that I've talked to that have interest or are curious about this type of stuff, and they say that they want one, or sometimes they say that they don't want one, and aren't into that kind of thing, and that's cool with me. I don't really care if you're into it or not. It's whatever, it's your thing or not. And most of the time, the reason why somebody would want one of these things but might not get one is because of how freaking expensive these things are. And if you get one that is made out of TPE material, which stands for thermoplastic elastomer, that's going to cost you at least around $2,000 to $3,000 for a decent sized doll that's about your height. If you want one that's about $1,500, it would be about this tall. And I'm sitting in a chair here, so you can see how short this thing. It'd be like 3 feet high. I kid you not. So to say the least, these things don't come cheap. And even a small one that's like about this size, it costs you like $800 if it's made out of TPE material. So to say the least, with the advancements growing and growing, it's starting to grow on these things as they grow more popular. They're just going to start becoming either about the same price, or they start going to, in some areas, are going to become more and more expensive. And let me tell you, even just there's an option on Real Doll site to have them put in the eyelashes in by hand and not just have like just a fake pair that they just put on. Just have them put in individually. And now it costs you like another $500 just to do that. So yeah, again, there's almost nothing on these things that comes cheap. There really isn't. And they all have to be made by hand, pretty much by hand, and by molds. It takes chemistry, etc. And with those further advancements in chemistry and stuff, there's good news and there's bad news, to say the least, from what I see. A little more good news than bad news. I'll just say that up front. So what's probably going to happen eventually is that it's going to get to the point where you can rent your own. You can either they're going to bring it to you so that you can rent it and you can just do what you want with it, or they're probably are kind of loosely going to start coming up with these places where you can just go to these places and it's going to be basically like a doll brothel. Although with the current technology now, with these dolls, I just don't think it'd be that sanitary. Even if you tried bringing it up right now to have a doll like brothel like that, I just don't think that the business would really last. These people, they come in and they would have sex with these things once, and the person would probably never come back, even if they like the experience. They just think, oh, I did it, so it probably it'd be kind of a bad thing, to say the least. And just like in movies like Blade Runner, where you just literally see these things walking the streets, I mean, I don't think that's kind of technology and those times are going to come until I'm probably dead, at least probably, or until I'm like very old. With that kind of technology and that kind of free will, with these sex robots, with them just walking the streets, I mean, that's definitely is not going to happen for a long time, if it ever is going to happen, to say the least. And as far as like the bad stuff that would happen, though, I think if this stuff actually does become advanced enough that whether you're a male or female, because for some reason a lot of people just tend to criticize guys when it comes to this types of stuff, and it kind of goes both ways now. It's starting to go both ways nowadays, but anyway, I would say that there's at least a possibility that people are going to become very used to having sex with these things versus having sex with another person, because there's a little bit of harsh truth when it comes to the reality of let's say trying to get laid, which I kind of learned as I grew up, and especially when I started getting into this, the thing with the love dolls, because I've got a couple of them now, as you've seen if you've kept up with my videos. I actually realized how inefficient going out and getting laid really is, actually. Because you can go out and it can take hours for you to finally find somebody to have sex with you. And the fact that they also have to be attracted to you, and they also have to be in the mood. It could take easily several factors. They have to trust you well enough to go to your place and have sex with you. I mean, when you think about it, just going out and trying to get laid all the time is actually a very inefficient way of trying to have sex when you really think about it. Which I think is one of the reasons why pornography has become so popular, actually, is because you can just turn on your computer and there it is. You don't have to deal with all the bullshit. You can just get right to it. On the other hand, there are a lot of people that say stuff like, if you haven't seen my Women Can't Replace video, there are a lot of people say that men are going to replace women with these love dolls or vice versa. And that's not going to happen. And it's because people do not come off of an assembly line like these dolls do. You cannot replace human beings. And, God isn't just going to stop making women think because men hate women. And if men and women at some point stopped working with each other, that'd be basically the end of their human race as we know it. I mean, yeah, you seriously can't just replace each other. That would just be dumb. As much as you think that, yeah, that's just stupid. But, and there's also this theory about, like, it might stop rape, and I don't think it will. That's just a human thing. I mean, my father worked for the prison system. He used to work for every place, or should I say, he used to work he used to work for the states, basically, is what I'm trying to say. He used to work for every district here in Iowa. And the reason why people tend to rape is because they want to dominate you. They have a major domination fetish, and that is just a human thing. I mean, I can maybe see it may be deterring rape a little bit, like a little bit, but rape is just a human thing. So it's not going to really do much against that, really. Although it might at least help with somebody that, just feels the need to have something. You know what I mean? So that, because it's always there for you at the drop of a hat. And which is part of the reason why these things are so popular, to say the least. What else would I have to say? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of information on the subject, so I hope I'm not giving you a headache. Oh my God. So yeah, there is definitely going to be a future with these dolls as they get more advanced. But at the moment, these dolls can't even move. Like at best, they have like an AI intelligence and it can say stuff. And maybe have a short conversation with them at best. But, it's getting there, to say the least. You know what I mean? It's getting there. And here, I'll pick my phone here real quick. And how it works is that you need to have an app on your smartphone. And you download it on your cell phone or iPad or something like that. And then you use that app to connect with the AI head on your doll. And then you can start having conversations with it. You can make up your doll's personality, and everything. So, there's some customization options and everything. And, you have to go through some policy stuff, of course. And then, you finally connect your app to the head. And you have to use that app to communicate with that AI. And so, the doll's mouth is moving, and, you can see the eyes are also moving, but that's really about it. And when you're having sex with her, they've actually made it to where she'll actually moan like you're having sex with her. But, it just sounds like it just sounds so robotic when you're having sex with her. I hate to say it. I mean, there's no real I'm just putting that away. There's no personality there. It's just so different. It's so robotic, which is the reason why I decided not to get the AI with my doll, by the way, when I got from Real Doll. Is because, yeah, it's not very immersive. I mean, it's definitely better than nothing, but it's not very immersive, to say the least. So, yeah, these dolls can't even move around. They can speak and moan, but that's really it for now. But, they have come a long way, to say the least. And as far as the future of that goes, I mean, you just never know. But as far as what I've seen, because I have researched it, they aren't going to get to a point where these things are going to get super smart and human-like. This is only going to be a thing just for fun. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a limited personality to kind of please the customer and add more immersion to it into your experience. They aren't just gonna make these things like humans, because when it comes down to it, these things are made for customer satisfaction and for escapism, for a fantasy. They aren't going to make these dolls to, be human-like, to say the least. That's what I'm trying to say. They're just going to make it so it adds to the fantasy that you have and want, but they aren't going to make these dolls to replace human beings, to say the least. Just customer satisfaction. And with that being said, I think I've said enough for now. I think this video has been long enough. There's a lot more on the topic, and I suggest you look more into it because I don't want to give you guys a headache. I think you've had enough for now. So with that being said, I'll just end the video here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.